The house at the end of Hollow Street had been abandoned for years. No one dared go near it, not since the incident. Some say the place was cursed. Others whispered about the man who had lived there long ago. A man who had vanished without a trace, leaving behind only a single message, scrawled in blood across the floorboards. I will return. I never believed in ghost stories. Not until I met Michael. It started with a dare. Michael, Eric, and I had always been reckless. We were the kind of kids who snuck into old buildings, broke into abandoned places, and tested the limits of our fear for fun. So when Michael suggested we spend the night in the Hollow Street house, I agreed. Eric was hesitant, but he followed. He always did. We arrived just after midnight, flashlights in hand, armed with nothing but our bravado and stupidity. The door was already open, swinging on rusted hinges. As soon as we stepped inside, the air turned heavy. Michael grinned. Told you this place was creepy as hell? Eric muttered something under his breath and stuck close to me. The floor creaked beneath our weight as we made our way into the house. The furniture was long gone, but the message was still there, those 3 words dried into the wood. I will return. Michael laughed. Probably just some psycho messing around. Then, from somewhere deep inside the house, we heard it. A whisper. Soft, slow. Right behind us. I already have. We ran. Or at least Eric and I did. Michael, in his usual stupidity, grabbed his flashlight and ran toward the sound. We had no choice but to follow. The whispering continued, growing louder, surrounding us. It wasn't one voice anymore. It was many. The air felt thick, suffocating. The walls seemed to close in. And then, Michael screamed. We turned a corner and found him frozen in place, staring at something on the wall. It was a portrait. Old, covered in dust, but still clear enough to see. It was a man in a dark suit, staring directly ahead. His face was pale, expression unreadable. But his eyes, they moved. I swear to God they followed us. Guys, Michael whispered. Look at the name. Beneath the portrait, carved into the frame, was a name none of us had ever heard before. Gabriel Locke. Before we could react, the whispering stopped. And the door slammed shut. 3. We were trapped. Eric started hyperventilating, banging on the door, screaming for help. Michael just kept staring at the portrait. He's watching us, he muttered. Then the lights went out. And we weren't alone anymore. The whispers returned, filling the darkness, shifting, merging. Until finally one voice broke through. I remember you. Something grabbed me. Cold, bony fingers wrapped around my wrist, pulling me. I screamed. Eric screamed. Michael laughed. At first I thought it was hysteria. Then I realized he wasn't scared. He was smiling. The whispers grew louder, circling us, chanting. He's back. He's back. He's back. And Michael whispered, yes, I am. I turned my flashlight on him, and his face was wrong. His skin was pale, his features shifting. His eyes were no longer his own. They were yellow. A voice, not Michael's, spoke from his mouth. You left me to die. Then the screaming started. I don't remember how we escaped. One moment the house was collapsing around us. The next I was outside, gasping for air. Eric was beside me, shaking, eyes wide. Michael was gone. The house was silent again. No whispers. No movement. Just the wind. But as we turned to leave, I saw something on the ground. A portrait. Faded. Of a boy with yellow eyes. And beneath it, carved into the frame, a new name had appeared. Michael. He had returned. And he was never leaving again.